bending the binding for this guy. It's gonna be pretty tedious, but here we go. Doing curly maple binding. Started to bend this piece just to kind of get an idea of how this material will bend. So it's pretty thick, or thicker than I normally bend for binding. It's a little over 1/8 of an inch. So 0.130, so thousandths. So it is a little bit oversized, but that's okay. Needs some wiggle room, so I just kind of spritz it with water. You hear the sizzling. So again, with each piece of wood you bend, you want to kind of just let it go at its own pace. You know, the wood fibers are gonna react to the steam differently depending on the wood species, and so just kind of take your time. So you can see that's how the binding's going so far. So for this octave mandolin, see if I can do it without burning it. So it's basically 4 pieces. This piece, and then this piece, this piece, and this piece. So this is obviously one of the body pieces. So you can see I'm kind of over bending the piece, because I find I'd rather have it spring towards and into the instrument if there is any spring than have it springing away. I feel like it just kind of relax into the shape I want better. So I'm going to keep working on that bend, and then up here I need to kind of flare it out. It's shaping up pretty nice. So, let's see here. So she overbent. So if I overbend it, this is a good example. You just flip the piece over from how you're bending it and just kind of straighten it out. Sometimes we'll even use the very top of at least this specific bending iron because it's a nice flat surface, and I can just more control just kind of rock it and ease some of the bend out of it. I'm just working a bend into the end piece, or not the end piece, the end of the piece, where the tail piece will go. So that's how it's looking right now. Sometimes when you do start to change direction, again, use a pencil and put dash marks all around the piece. Like this is about where I'm going to start curving it up. So actually, I'm going to curve it in and then up. Start with water. So you can see you don't always have to use a spring steel. I think for me, it depends on how well the wood is bending. And it seems to be bending okay. Watch it snap now. That's kind of how it goes. Like, it's going really well, and then it snaps. The pendulum always swings. So now I've flipped the piece over, and now I'm going to be doing the point part. So, but you get the idea. So I'm gonna keep working this bend. It's gonna need to be a lot tighter and kind of flare out more. So I'm gonna keep on working on that. But that's more or less how I go about bending the binding for the wood binding for instruments. Again, I'll do several sessions of bending each piece, but the initial one, which this is just to kind of get the initial flow down. And then I'll use a pencil more to mark things up of where bends need to be or not be, or if it needs to be a little bit straighter in some points. So that's a good initial start for that piece. All right, I'm gonna get to work bending these pieces.